Welcome to Beats Working, Winning the Game of Events, where we share stories and strategies to turn any event or life moment into something unforgettable.
Events are wild, and the people who work in them are some of the most resilient humans on Earth. If you know, you know.
So come with us behind the curtain for a look at their most memorable experiences.
As they say, the show must go on, so let's get on with the show.
Welcome back to part 2 of our Best of the Best Beats Working, Winning the Game of Events.
In this episode, we're celebrating the art of adapting when DJs become crowd whisperers, swag becomes strategy, and RuPaul shows up mid-runway.
If part 1 was all about the heart, then part 2 is all about the hustle. Let's go.
Okay, we all loved this moment when Carrie and Michelle shared how she has changed the game for swag. One word, drip. And we're not talking about fashion here, people.
I would say that drip approach is something that I've started to do. I actually more probably since COVID, when, thinking about the in-person experience shifted and there were just more things to consider in terms of everybody feeling healthy and comfortable and safe and in different ways. I think there was just another layer of detail. I hadn't really thought about that. So you just said that, but I think it was kind of coming out the other side. But one of the things I liked about how we did that was it kind of kept the surprise and delight going, which is, from part of my time in the PR world, that's like our big go-to slogan when you're doing events, right? What are those surprise and delights? So how do we kind of keep that going across the time? I also know just from my own experience being at, I don't even know, more than I can count, events in my life, whether I planned them or went to conferences or big events, small events, cocktails, mocktails, yogas, running, like all the things I do in my free time, plus all this stuff in the business world, that I ended up with a lot of the swag bags that I always felt really sad about, because I would watch sometimes my colleagues like throw them in a trash can. And, they're like, well, it's just full of like glossy postcards for brands I don't care about. And the person in me who cares about the environment also would sort of shudder every time that happened. So it's become more important for me to think about swag in different ways.
This is the part that we still talk about, how she turns swag into storytelling. And I think because last year I witnessed it IRL over the course of 3 days and experienced it myself and loved it. Plus, I was able to grab you an extra thing or two.
I've got it right here.
I just thought that this method was magic. And maybe it's been around for a long time, but it was new to me. It was totally new to me.
It is. And she also really emphasized quality items. I mean, we all say this, but people still don't hear it. Like, we don't want pens and paper, things we're just going to throw away, like a paper coupon. I don't want that. I still get those in the mail and they still end up just being recycled. I don't actually use them. People want something tangible, and it is such a smart idea to, even if it means doing fewer items, to do really substantial quality pieces.
Okay, Libby, I actually think you can still do pins if you do pins right. And that's because last night I was stuffing swag bags for an event this weekend, and the pins that I put in there say, "You're doing great, sweetie."
Okay, you're right. There are some good pens.
Pin? Yeah.
There are also erasable pens, which are very cool.
Love those.
You can't have like an old ballpoint pen from the 90s. Like, we just don't want those.
All right. Well, from drip to tip, and I'm talking about pen tip, that is, Lou Medina makes us all want to go out and buy Crayola markers all over again.
I used to use some really expensive brush pens, and I tried all kinds of like really high-end pens, and there's two things. One is the expense, and two is that I'm kind of rough on pens. So I was like really tearing up pens, and it's like, gosh, this is really, really expensive. So I started looking around and found through experimentation and seeing what other people were using, the Crayola bullet, I don't have one right in front of me, but a bullet tip marker, because it gives me a nice thin or thick line, good variance, and the ink is really good. They're really easy to get a hold of. So yeah, and they're very durable. They're made for a 5-year-old, so they're
Mhm.
made to take a beating. So yeah, I beat the heck out of my pens, and these things can really take a beating and keep on ticking.
Well,
And they'll
I
wash out of your
actually
clothes and your
they
Oh
hands.
yeah.
they wash out,
So
and I actually think they do another purpose beyond that as the experience. At least for me, I'm going to identify as a Gen X woman. I see Crayola and I am nostalgic. I think about my childhood, which I had a good one. I think about coloring and art, which makes me
Mhm.
happy. And so when you see the Crayola brand, like you immediately think fun and playful because they've done a
Mhm.
really good job with their branding over the decades and decades and decades. So I feel like that's part of your experience too,
That's a
Lou.
great point. I'd never thought about that. There's a very positive, nostalgic, playful, you know, I don't know if you say tone to Crayola, or memories that are
Mhm,
evocative when you see
mhm.
Crayola.
so many innuendos in that clip. I mean, we could really talk about that for a long time. But I mean, I just loved that. The old classic Crayola broad tip markers. We've got like 100 of them in our house because we do have children here. And I can say if it's something that's made for a 5-year-old, then yes, it can withstand a lot of wear and tear.
I do want to though nod to, yes, it's a classic Crayola marker. We love them, we know them, but not everyone can make magic with them like Lou. Like
No.
Lou's talent of drawing your caricature and having it look so much like you is incredible. And not everybody can do that. I remember one year, and I might have said this in that episode, I don't remember. I was in New York Times with my sister and we decided to get caricatures. And the two girls in the portrait looked just like each other, and neither one of them looks like me or my sister. So Lou does have a true gift.
It's true. I mean, anyone can have a Crayola marker to draw with, but if you don't have the talent that Lou has, you're not going to be able to create the kind of artwork that he does. He is such an awesome part of events. I love having him there. I can't wait to have another one so we can have Lou. All right,
We love you,
next up.
Lou.
Love you, Lou. All right, next up, oh, DJ Baby Van Beezly. This episode was a riot. So much fun to record. And, she'll tell you if you've ever had to read a room on the fly, this is the episode for you.
Have you ever had like a couple where they basically they give you a very detailed playlist, like we want all of these songs in this exact order? Like how do you deal with that?
Oh yeah, lots of times. I've had couples that are like, here's, this playlist will be played for the first third of the dance floor, this playlist for the second third, and this for the third. It's not my favorite thing to deal with, but I can absolutely do it. It just kind of like hinders my ability to DJ well, what I consider well,
Mhm,
which is, like I
mhm.
said, the mixing and blending. But with that being said, I'm a talented DJ and I can make anything work. Like moving between genres is a big part of weddings and private events. So, and at the end of the day, if you're getting married and these are songs that are special to you and you want to enjoy them at a specific moment in your night, you have the right to say that. And so,
Of course.
uh, so yes, but yeah, I've definitely encountered that before. I've had like spreadsheets with times and everything. So
Oh wow.
yeah, I'm like, if you want to pay me to come here and be a glorified Spotify, I can do that for you. But I think everyone's gonna have a
Totally.
better time if you let me do what I do best, which is read the
Mhm.
room, set a vibe, make sure like everyone in every generation is on the floor at some point in the night. Um, so yes, I don't recommend doing that for your DJ, but if you got to do it, you got to do it.
Mhm,
Well, because
mhm.
that's a really good point. Because I mean, people don't really probably think about it, but when you're DJing, you're not just pressing play or mixing songs. Like you really are reading the vibe and the energy of the room and like, oh, like what's this group over here doing? Like, what's this group? Like, what could I, what kind of similarities could I like feel from these people that I could maybe get something that everyone can, dance
Yes.
to at the same time. That's
Yes,
a real
exactly.
skill to be
That
able
is the
to read
puzzle.
people like that.
It's the puzzle to solve. Yeah, and it's all about creating a blend that's gonna get everybody out there. Because with weddings in particular, it really is just a giant demographic of different people. Like if the club books me and they want an emo night, like that's easy. I know what the room wants.
Yeah.
A wedding is a bunch of different people from very different walks of life, and they all have very different opinions about what gets the room going.
They do.
So
They
yeah,
do.
I try to find things that are appealing to everybody. And as I usually will start my dance floor off with like music that is cross-generationally enjoyable. Like this is like your discos and like maybe some 80s or things like that, like stuff that like everybody loves. Like everybody will dance to 80s music. We can all agree.
Yep, it's true.
Yeah, and then as the night goes, I'll drive it more towards the age group of the bride and groom and all their friends. Like then I make it like this is about you and your buds now.
Well, that's the magic of Baby Van Beezly. She is not just spinning tracks. She's scanning the crowd, blending generations, and building a shared moment. Plus, she does it with such impeccable style. Like, I just love her vibes. Vibes for days.
She's the best. And if you didn't listen to the full episode, then you don't know that she actually was an accountant. Went to that office and said, these people are not my people. I can't do this. And then she just, through serious hard work and amazing connections and, calling on all the people that she knew, she changed her career into a DJ, and she's awesome. If anyone can read a room, it's 100% her. And that takes a lot of talent, because when you are picking music, like she said, if it's just a club, an EDM club, like that's easy. She knows how to do that. And, she can do that kind of with her eyes closed. But if you're having her do a corporate event, a wedding, I mean, really any kind of an event, unless there's a very specific theme where you're only playing one like genre of music, like a polka themed party. I don't know. People probably have those.
Like a polka.
Yeah,
Way to
like
pull that
polka
out.
music.
Like
Hello.
a polka. You did hire polkas polka dancers that
We
one
did,
time
yes.
way back in the day. Yeah.
Yes. We did. That was an experience. She is so skilled at picking the right music based on the crowd, reading the room, feeling the vibe, and getting people on the dance floor.
Yep, she's magic. She is magic. Well, speaking of magic, now let's talk shipping. I know those are two words you wouldn't think go together. But Libby, we don't actually talk enough about the company that we work for, which is known as Work P2P, also known as Point to Point Transportation Inc. And our team that is behind the scenes of Sidekicks, they do make the magic happen when it comes to shipping. So check out this clip. Spoiler alert, it's not about the box, it's about the clock.
What is something that most planners forget to factor in during the planning stage that can derail everything? What questions should they be asking their shipping and logistics partners from day one? Because if I called you guys to ship something for me to Germany or Texas, I don't know the first thing about the details. All I would know is these are my things and I need them to get there by this date. That's the only thing I would really think of as a planner.
Yeah, the most important question that they should be asking of their provider: how much time do you need to make it happen?
Okay. Is that because things get stuck places?
The
There's
potential
delays.
of things being stuck is very high. And it
Internationally.
really depends. What country is it going to,
Yeah.
and when is it going there?
And that's specific to internationally, not if you're shipping to Texas.
Correct. Yeah. I would say the most important thing, like Richard was saying, is time, but also it details on what you are shipping. Especially international, you have to have documentation to make sure that it matches what you're shipping. If not, you're afraid it's going to end up locked up with customs for a while.
I mean, that's the line that every planner should remember. How much time do you need? We live our lives inside production schedules and timelines. And a lot of time in the events industry, you're used to just turning things real quick, putting out fires, making things happen overnight, getting that Ferris wheel insurance pushed through. But, for a lot of things, particularly shipping, you do have to build in timelines. And if you have ever ordered last minute items, swag, anything like that, you'll know that it takes some time.
It does take time. And, these days, anything could happen depending on where your shipments are coming from or going to. So do yourself a solid and just give yourself a little extra padding of time whenever and wherever you can.
Always
save
helpful.
On the drama, right? It'll save out the drama.
Yeah. And if you need to make magic happen, whether it's a very lengthy timeline of magic or a short turn of magic, give us a shout. We're going to connect you with our team over here at Point to Point, and they can do it because they are true magicians. If you could see the behind the scenes action over here, you'd be amazed. But a magician never reveals their tricks.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
Or secrets,
Dun, dun,
whatever.
dun.
Something. I don't know. Whatever that saying is. Okay. We're going to close this one out with a little bit of runway drama. Our very favorite, beloved Terri Morgan delivers a full fashion fantasy.
Is there a standout show in your history of shows that you're like, this was the iconic one? Do you have any standouts? I know they're all good, so it's okay if you don't.
I have so many that I love for all different kind of reasons. Before we had all the LED screens and all that, it was one of the first Fashion Week shows that we did. I don't know if you remember, Alysse, when we were across the street and it had the lower level, and sometimes we had a band that played, and then you went upstairs and all that. And we did this scene with a scrim, and the song was Fashionista. Everybody line up, the show's about to start. It was RuPaul. And I had this idea about, the thought of people. Do you remember seeing Isaac Mizrahi Unzipped?
Yes.
Okay. So you remember how you could see the models behind the scrim getting ready for the show? Okay. So we didn't have the models dressing backstage, but I had one of the models, a man, come out with headphones on, like he was, cueing the show, and he's lip syncing to everybody line up, the show's about to start. And then a model came out and a stylist came out, and they're all behind this scrim with the light on them. And they're starting to, just adjusting, and we get like, it's kind of that behind the scenes kind of look. And then it goes to black, and then the lights just went crazy. And the coolest thing was, before the models even came out on the runway, the audience applauded.
That was a true RuPaul moment. You could feel the lights, the anticipation, and the applause before the show even started. It's pure magic. Terri Morgan, her stories, her experience over the decades, pure gold.
So much experience. And also, she is so good at storytelling. If you didn't listen to this episode, please go back and give it a listen. Every story that she tells, she is so good at including the details that you feel like you're really there, just like in the story about, the RuPaul behind the screen vibe that had everybody clapping before the models hit the runway. She's so talented. We are so lucky to have her in our industry.
Plus, she has like the best giggle, not laugh.
Oh.
She has a giggle, and it's like a signature giggle. And it's effervescent. I can't even say that word, but it is. And she's just a delight to work with. And Terri, we love you.
We love her. She's the best.
Well, speaking of the best, this was the best. This year was the best. These guests were the best. And this is a wrap on our best of the recap series.
To everyone who's joined us behind the scenes this year, thank you. thank you. We can't say it enough. We've told you before, we're going to say it again, but you've really inspired us, definitely cracked us up, and reminded us that this industry runs on heart, hustle, and a few Sharpies and spreadsheets.
Maybe Crayola markers.
Yeah, and Crayola markers, of course. All about that tip.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next year at Beats Working, winning the game of events. If you have an idea or you want to reach out, please email us or slide into our DMs. Our email is info@beatsworking.show. And remember, every detail matters, every moment counts. And no matter what,
the show must go on.
on.
We're going to really nail that next year, guys.
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks for listening to Beats Working, winning the game of events, where we explore what it takes to make moments unforgettable.
If you're leaving with a little more inspiration, a little more perspective, and a big side ache from all of the laughing at our funny jokes, then we've done our job.
Beats Working is a Work P2P production. If you've enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on your favorite podcast platforms.
Your support helps us keep the magic going.